Morning, all. So here we are. We have a two-game lead for the Tampa Bay Lightning. We're going to take a look at that game, and we're going to look at some news of the day going on as well. Tampa Bay does have that 2 games to nothing lead. I don't think Braden Point's playing tonight, which means that's your opening if you're the Islanders, right? And of course, Killorn's suspended, so the Tampa Bay Lightning should be, you would think, changing things up. Maybe you go with 12 forwards and 6 defensemen due to the fact that you're without Point. I don't know. They've been doing 11 forwards, 7 defensemen. Maybe you leave it that way. I'm not sure, but it's the first time that Cooper's going to have to really change up the lineup quite a bit just to try to cover for Point. And you wonder if the Islanders are going to be able to make headway in this game and maybe push themselves back into the series. Game 2 was really a perfect Islanders game until there was 8 seconds left, and then Kucherov said, great little game you got here. It's a shame I have to ruin it. And he scored. So they kind of have to do that again. And they have to hope that they get the bounces this time. They have to hope that Vasilevsky starts to show some sort of a weakness. And I'm not sure that there is one. I'm really not. And so we'll see whether or not the Islanders can get into this. It's not on Varlamov in the last game. I don't think it was on Greiss or Varlamov in game 1 either. I think this is just about Tampa kind of looking like Detroit did in 1997. That's the closest I can come, is that 96 Detroit got embarrassed after what was an amazing regular season, and then in 97 they were not going to be denied. And I get that same vibe from the Tampa Bay Lightning right now, that they are on a mission to prove that what happened last year, that is not the real Tampa Bay Lightning, and this is. So for the Islanders, good luck on stopping that. That is not going to be easy for them, and we'll see whether or not, with a couple of forwards out, key forwards too. Killorn is more of a key forward than I think some may realize for Tampa. So if the Islanders want an opening, this is it. Get a few power plays, and hit on a power play, score one 5-on-5. They've got a good chance of winning it. So we'll see what happens with that one tonight. Now on to other news for today. Of course, yesterday they announced that Sean Couturier won the Selke trophy, and good for him. It's about time. I've been arguing that Couturier deserved the Selke for a couple of years now. He has been excellent. So yeah, Couturier, probably the best defensive forward in the NHL right now, and I say that as a huge fan of Patrice Bergeron, but the Bruins have some interesting questions to answer. Cam Neely admitted that as well, and so it's Couturier's time now. And the Flyers have some interesting questions to answer as well with this offseason. A lot of teams in similar positions, though, where you may not have a lot of cap. You may see yourself as being close. Some of your core might be considered to be, a little over the hill, and what are you going to do? But Couturier is not one of those players. Solid forward, and I would not be surprised to see him win multiple Selke trophies. He is absolutely fantastic. Speaking of which, Ottawa, Borowiecki has confirmed what was reported previously, confirmed this yesterday, that yes, he is leaving the Sens. That chapter in his life is over, and it doesn't feel like that's I don't know, it just feels weird. Like, remember a couple years back we get the weird Borowiecki interview with Melnick, and it felt like Borowiecki was the guy. He was the one. He was the veteran who was going to be with the Senators throughout his career, and he was going to stick with it, and he believed in the plan. I'm not saying he doesn't believe in the plan either, but it just feels weird that now that unrestricted free agency time is here, they're not meeting his demand either. So, yeah. The Ottawa Senators and Borowiecki parting ways. And like I said yesterday, lots of teams will line up for his services because he's kind of an excellent defenseman. Now, this has been a really bad year for employment, for the economy. It has been absolutely awful. And NHL teams are suffering as well with a lack of income. So despite the return to play, has managed to claw back some of the revenues that were lost for the NHL, but not a lot. And not for every team. At least 17 teams have slashed pay to their staff, including the Senators, who slashed pay to their staff, including coaches, by 50%. So the NHL has stepped in and paid down on the coaches the amount that they were owed because it's in their contract, right? So I'm sure that was the argument was, hey, that's in our contract, and so the NHL steps in to cover it. This is why we have to either you have a season for 2021 or you have a complete and total chaos. Because economically, I don't think the NHL can afford not to have a season. Or we could be having a whole other discussion by next spring about whether or not the league survives what's been going on. Which, again, we'll see what happens in the upcoming months. But this has been tough on everybody, and the economics definitely hit professional sports as well. This is why they're playing the playoffs right now, to try to claw some of that money back so they don't have to worry about how much they've lost, which is sizable. And for next year, it's probably going to be a large loss as well. All right, so hopefully coaches and the staff, and I'm thinking, the arena staff and everybody, and this is what we've been talking about since March. Hopefully they all get paid what is owed, what was agreed upon when they were hired, as well as the team can pay them. All right. Now, there was some discussion after last night's game, and this is something that's interesting. So I'm going to start checking this daily. Money Puck is a site that measures the advanced stats and all this wonderful stuff, and they get into probabilities. And Money Puck last night had Vegas, whether you look at all the stats and you look at the high danger chances and everything, as a 71.6% likely winner last night. And after the game where I said, hey, Vegas played really, really well, there were a lot of people who said, yeah, no, Dallas was better. And I'm again, I don't know what fog people see through see games through sometimes, but I know it makes it sound like, oh, Shannon's just saying Dallas wasn't as good because he's a Dallas fan and he doesn't want to appear biased. No, I didn't think Dallas was as good. So I'm going to start paying more attention to moneypuck.com. Free plug for them as well. Because they do have some interesting stats on probabilities and who should win. And of course, that doesn't mean that you're going to. It just means that, yeah, Vegas had some excellent chances last night. Some really good high danger chances that either got defended well by Dallas, so shot blocks and things of that nature, or Hudobin just stopped them. So for Vegas, this is a sign that they just, again, much like the Islanders that I'm arguing here, Vegas needs to keep doing what they're doing, and eventually it'll turn around, like it did against Vancouver, in all likelihood. Now, it doesn't always work out that way, but it should. And at some point I may do a countdown of series that were won, I'm not going to say by the wrong team, but they were won by a team that statistically looked like they'd been outplayed. And at the end of it you go, wow, and then they lost. Interesting. And this team that wasn't seemingly as good during the series, they won. Cool. So yeah, we'll see how that goes tomorrow night in game 4. The NHL has confirmed what we've known. The draft will take place on October 6th and 7th. Free agency is October 9th. So crunch time's here. It is here. And of course, for people who do or don't know, there won't be a live stream here during that period in time. I will be doing videos during the draft. I will be doing videos during free agency, obviously. And every free agent signing, there will be videos getting uploaded for that. I mean, it makes it so that my workload is actually lighter during that time. It does kind of make my day a little bit easier for draft and for free agency, but it is too bad because those are huge community building events, and they're apparently not gonna take place. I haven't heard anything back from the NHL, and the NHL would be the one that would actually be able to rescind a copyright strike, so that I could have live streams, but at this point, that's not going to happen until November 27th. I've exhausted all avenues available to me. There isn't really anything else I can do. So, yeah, during the draft and during free agency, unless I set something else up on some other... And I know people are going to go, oh, go to Twitch. I don't have any kind of partnership with Twitch. That's just more of a headache for me if I go over to Twitch. YouTube is much easier for me than Twitch would be right now. So there you are. There's that. So we'll just enjoy it through videos. And when I say videos on the draft, I mean I would do a video probably with each 5 draft selections in the first round, where I would say, all right, 1 through 5, 6 through 10, 11 through 15, and get through each 5 picks and who got drafted and who surprised me, that kind of thing. And there will be obviously a mock draft between now and then. Now, the reason I'm wearing a Chicago Wolves jersey today is that the Chicago Wolves are now affiliated with the Carolina Hurricanes. So if you go, that hat doesn't match that jersey, isn't that weird? It is kind of odd. So after about a decade of having their AHL affiliation with Charlotte, the Hurricanes will now be affiliated with Chicago, which Don Waddell says is not a big deal because there's lots of flights between Chicago and Raleigh. It won't be a big deal at all. And the Charlotte Checkers will now be affiliated with the Panthers. So how are their jerseys going to look? That's going to be a totally different looking jersey then, isn't it? And it does make me think, either do I wait and get a Charlotte's Checkers jersey when they reveal the new Florida design, or do I get one with the current Carolina design and maybe risk having one for the old? It's one of those things that occurs to me. I'm like, all right, maybe I want that, maybe I don't. Maybe with Florida, maybe the Panda Bear will look bad. Anyways, all right, we'll see, right? Now, Colorado, there was some speculation about them being interested in Matt Murray. They've come out and said, no, there's no changes in goal next year. It'll be Grubauer, it'll be Francouz. They're not making a change in net. They're not blaming goaltending for the reason that they're out, other than they were down to their number 3 against Dallas, so they're not overly concerned. And I don't think they have any real reason to be either. Grubauer honestly was playing well, and then he got hurt. And Francouz, I think, is a good goaltender. He probably should be a 1B or a backup, but he was thrown into that situation where he had to be a starter, and then he got hurt. And then you're down to Michael Hutchinson. So I don't think there's any need for Colorado to change goalies either. The Matt Murray rumor didn't make any sense to me at all, because I thought, why? I don't know that Matt Murray would be an upgrade on Grubauer. He's got the cup rings, yes, but is he an upgrade on Grubauer at this point? And I don't think that he would be. So I get it. And for Colorado, they won't be part of the goalie carousel apparently in the offseason. Buffalo, Sabres fans. Apparently next season they have an internal cap of in the low 70s range, meaning they won't spend to the cap. It doesn't mean that it's impossible for the team to get better. It doesn't mean it's impossible for the team to make the playoffs, but it's difficult. And so for Buffalo, keeping their cap in the low 70s next season, there's a danger to this in that I don't know how much longer Jack Eichel is going to accept just losses every year. I don't know how much longer Jack Eichel is going to sit by and say, well, it's another year gone off my contract and off my career, but eventually Buffalo's going to be good. I don't know how long that goes on for. So, keeping the salary cap in the low 70s, and they're not the only one. They're not the only team that's going to have this internal cap, but it's like I've been saying, it means that I think some veteran players are going to end up playing in Europe. It means that we're going to see dramatic shifts for certain teams in when we look at their standing in the league. Certain teams that maybe they look like they should be a contender, all of a sudden this offseason they're slashing their costs, and next year they're not. Or some teams that maybe have been near the bottom of the league, who don't have a salary cap concern and don't need to make major cuts, maybe they're going to be better next year than expected. And I'm looking at Detroit and Ottawa as 2 examples of that. So we'll see. All right, there you go. You guys are all caught up. Let me know your thoughts in the comments section below as always. Don't forget to hit like and subscribe if you're browsing your way through. You just happened upon this video. Thank you guys so much for watching, for all your support. I will talk to you again soon.